Hello everybody, how is it going? My name is Lucas, and today I am here to answer an age-old question. Is Mayones an instrument? I'm going to answer that question for you today. And guys, as your first time here, or if you have been here before, make sure you are subscribed. I do lots of cool stuff here, gear reviews, giveaways from time to time, Axe Effects, tutorials, all kind of cool stuff. Make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss any of that cool stuff. So without any further ado, let's jump right in and check out my brand new Mayones Duvell BL 6-string. Quick little story on how I acquired this awesome Duvell. Randomly one day I searched the Guitar Center website for Mayones, and lo and behold, this guitar popped up, and it was at a price I could not pass up. So I kind of started freaking out. I called my wife and I was like, hey, I found this really awesome guitar. Is it okay if I buy it? She said, sure. I ordered the guitar, had to do some rigmarole around to get it. I finally ordered it. It was on its way. And when it got here, I had it shipped to the Guitar Center local to me. So that way, when it got there, I could check it out, see it, play it, make sure everything was in working order. My friend actually suggested that I call Guitar Center to see if it came with a spec sheet, just to see exactly what the pickups were, because I was messaging with my friends and we were trying to figure out what exactly the pickups were, and we kind of couldn't. We had a few different ideas, but when I actually got the guitar, I opened it up at Guitar Center, and I was super pleased that it actually came with the certificate of authenticity from Mayones. It came with the spec sheets, and the actual pickups were bare knuckle war pigs, which I had never tried before. But I was really happy that they were bare knuckles, because I've played bare knuckles many of times before. I tried the guitar out in Guitar Center, and it was absolutely flawless. It was great. It had no dead frets. It sounded great. The only two things that I found wrong with it was it had two little nicks on the top and the bottom of the body, but that was it. But besides that, it was in absolutely fantastic condition, and it played really well. So now that I've talked a little bit of how I acquired the guitar, let me play a little bit more for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a riff, and I'm going to cycle through the bridge, neck, and middle pickup positions, so that way you can kind of hear how the different pickup positions differ on it. What I really like about it whenever you're cycling through the pickup position is that if you go to the middle position, I never really use the middle position on a lot of my guitars, but this one is really cool because you kind of get like that split coil sound a little bit, but when you're in the neck and the bridge, you get that kind of split coil sound, and it's kind of spanky, and it's really cool. Now that we have heard the Duvell, let's go over the individual specs for this particular guitar. The radius for the Duvell is going to be at 16 inches. The neck is going to be a 5-ply Wingate and Purple Heart mix. The fretboard is going to be ebony. It does not have any top wood. It's just a natural finish from the body. The body wood itself is black limba and or black Corina wood. The side markers is going to be some blue lumen lays. They light up when you're on a dark stage. It's really cool to have whenever you're playing a gig. We have some stainless frets. It is, of course, a bolt-on construction. It is a 25.4-inch scale length. It is in a dual humbucker position. You have one volume knob, which is a push-pull knob, which gives you some selection to some split coil tones whenever you pull it. The color and finish on it is a trans natural black burst, and that is in a matte finish. It does have the Mayones treble bleed mod on it, and what that does is whenever you lower the volume of your guitar, the tone doesn't get dark at all. It keeps that brightness that it originally has whenever it is at full volume. It has a hip shot bridge, and it also has hip shot open grid locking tuners, which are absolutely fantastic. The nut is a Graph Tech black nut. The knob on it is actually a very interesting story because the knob on this one has a little M on it, which is from John Brown's signature Mayones, which you used to be able to order, but he discontinued it quite recently. And the only way to get that knob was on his Quatsai, I think that's how you pronounce it, correct me if I'm wrong, signature Duvell. Well, you can't buy that knob, and the only way to get it was from a Duvell guitar, and the previous owner of this guitar swapped it off of his brother's Quatsai signature guitar and put it on his. So that is how I actually acquired the M Monuments knob, which it's kind of a cool little story. It kind of looks like the Majin M from Dragon Ball Z, and I kind of call it the Majin Vegeta knob, which is just kind of not exactly true, but it's just my own little way of talking about it. Specs wise on this guitar, it is a BL, and BL, I'm pretty sure it stands for bass level. I think that's what it stands for. I always thought it stood for Black Limbo because that is what the bodywood is. So once again, correct me if I'm wrong. And there's different levels for the Duvell. So you have the Duvell BL, which is what I have, which I say it stands for bass level because there's really no extra things that go along with it. Like a lot of the ones that I've seen before, they're just absolutely plain and they don't have any like burst or anything on them. So this one was very unique. That was one of the first ones that I've seen that had the burst on it, but it's actually semi-common from what I found out. So you have the Duvell Elite BL, which is what we're looking at here. You have the Duvell Elite. You have the Elite VF, which is the fan fret model. And you have the Duvell Elite Gothic. The main difference between all these guitars is it's basically just kind of how they're configured. So the Elite, you have a different top wood. You have Buckeye Burl if you went for the top wood. Elite VF, it's literally just flamed. It's fanned, excuse me. It's fanned. You have a fan going on there. Gothic is you have an ash top over the top. You can really configure these guitars any different way that you want. So, I mean, if you just want, you want to get the BL, like I said, that's the bass level. So you can get a burst on it. You can change out the pickups. Kind of configure a few things. I'm sure if you wanted to get a Floyd Rose on it, you could. You would just have to talk to your Mayones dealer depending on which one that you would really want and the features that you would really want. But the main thing I want you guys to take away from this is that even though the guitars have different names and they have a little bit different specs, they all pretty much play the same. There's no major difference between them. It's mainly just bridge specs and it's mostly wood. That's kind of the things that really differentiate it from it. So any of the Duvells are all going to play amazing. They're all going to play great. It just depends on what kind of specs that you want or specs to the one that you're looking at getting has. As I alluded to before, this Duvell is equipped with a push-pull knob which lets you get some split coil sounds on the pickups themselves. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you right now. I will start with doing it in some clean settings. I'll just let you hear the split coils in all three positions like that, and then I'll kick on some distortion so you can kind of hear what it sounds like that. My favorite position for the split coils is definitely the middle position because that gives you access to both the neck and the bridge. Split coil position, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. Now, let's hear it with a little bit of some distortion here, and it's gonna sound nice and tight and funky. I absolutely love the distortion tones when you pop your volume knob and you get that split coil tone. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Now that we have heard some of the tones, I kind of want to talk about build quality. We talked about specs and different things like that. Build quality wise, this guitar it's absolutely top tier, and the thing I love about Mayones is they pay attention to detail. So when I opened up the back panel, one of the first things I noticed was that the screws that they used, they sit low in the back plate itself, so they're not poking you whenever you're like moving around. And something that I've never really seen on guitars before, and I wish more manufacturers would do this, they have standoffs where the screws go in for the back plate. That is absolutely awesome. Over the life of this guitar, if you're using the normal screws with actual like sharp heads on them, you know, the wood and at that spot can kind of get worn out over time, and you have to, you know, stick a toothpick in there or put some glue to kind of put some of the material back in so the screw would fit. But with standoffs right there, you don't really have to worry about that, and it's great. And inside the cavity, it's absolutely fantastic. It's completely shielded. The actual plastic black back plate itself is also shielded. Wiring in there is great. It's all tucked in. It's very nice. It's very neat. And the cavity itself, which another thing that I love, is that it's really big. So you have lots of room in there, and they're cut all the same. So if you wanted to put some active pickups in your Duvell, you can, because the cavity itself is really big. You have space for a battery. You have plenty of space for activities in there, and it's really great. And you can just kind of tell that this guitar was made with a lot of love and with a lot of care. Just the frets on it are absolutely fantastic. None of them are sticking out. It feels absolutely great. Even getting this guitar, it came all the way from California to where I live in Louisiana. It was spectacular. Even out of the box, it was still relatively in tune. The action on it was already really low. I mean, that was probably set up from the previous user, but it was great. I didn't have to adjust the neck at all. It was just absolutely fantastic. And I really like changes that they made to the guitar. In 2019, they kind of gave it a little bit of an update. They took out a little bit more material on the back end of it, so that way it hugs you a little better, and they gave the guitar a little bit better forearm contour, which absolutely made the Duvells perfect for me, because I played them at NAMM whenever they launched a couple years ago, and that was kind of my really only complaint with them, was that the forearm contour was could have been a little bit better, and they absolutely nailed it with the updates that they did. They did it in 2019, and I think they kind of redid it a little bit again in 2020. And with that update, they also changed from a 6-bolt pattern to a 4-bolt pattern. So whenever you're looking at Duvells, that kind of differentiates them from the older ones. The 2019 and beyond ones have the 4-bolt pattern, and everything before that is going to have a 6-bolt pattern. I'm pretty sure that is right. Once again, if I'm wrong, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Neck profile is a really big thing for people, so I'm going to try my best to kind of describe it for you. So the neck profile on here, it fits me perfectly. The best way I can describe it is, if you do take an Ibanez Wizard neck, which is really thin, and you take, like, you know, a really thick neck that's like a baseball bat, and you strike the perfect combination between the two, that's basically what you get from this neck. So it is kind of on the chunkier side, and I say that very lightly, on a chunkier side. It fits my hand nicely, it fits it nicely, and it doesn't hurt my thumb at all. But at the same time, it's rounded. Well, of course, more necks is rounded, but the way that it's rounded is it's rounded very nicely to where it still lets you play very fast, if that makes any sense. I'm trying to do it justice. It's really hard to describe how the neck is without actually feeling it, but it feels really great to me. So if you're in search of a neck that's fast but also has a little bit of girth to it, it's absolutely perfect. The Duvell absolutely excels whenever you're playing some rhythm tones. Now let you hear some lead tones. Going to be using the neck pickup, which is a Warpig, and I will just play some lead for you, and I'll just let you hear how this thing sings. Upper fret access on here too. That's another thing I kind of forgot to gloss over there. It's absolutely fantastic. Whenever you're getting way up here, when I was doing a very bad shred impersonation there, you can get to these high frets right here very, very easy. That's 23, 24. You can get up there. The heel, it doesn't get in the way. It's like so small and reduced. Oh, it's so great. Trust me. If you shred a lot and you worried about how it feels when you get up here, it's fantastic. It's one of the better guitars that I felt with the heel like this. The 4-bolt pattern of the other two is absolutely fantastic. I really, really, really do love it. It's great. Also, whenever I was doing the lead tones there, the first little half of them there was on the split coil sound, and then once I popped it back in, that was the full pickup sound. This guitar has been an absolute riff machine for me. I'll do a few more riffs with you, and I'm gonna put it on my Purr setting on my Axe FX. That's what I've been using for everything today, and we've been in drop C. I'll let you hear what it sounds like with a little bit more gain. I'll let it purr for you. It'll be a little bit more low-endy. Let me touch on the pickups really quick, and then I'll get you out of here. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know it was a little long, but I kind of had a lot to get to. I have never really played Warpigs before, but man, they're so fantastic, and they fit this guitar so well. They're just so in your face. They're high output. They're high output, but they're not a one-trick pony. So you can do death metal stuff on them if you want, do gent metal, whatever. But you can also have some very nice split coil tones going on from there. People actually use these for jazz. I'm sure you could get some hard rock tones out of them too. They're just so versatile, and I really just love them because they're very much in your face, and they're just beating you over the head constantly. They're really, really great. I know I'm ranting and raving, so let me just play a little bit for you. This is going to be a little bit more gain than what I've had previously. Yes, I absolutely love this guitar. It absolutely riffs, all of that good stuff. Another thing I wanted to cover is that tuning stability on this thing has been very rock solid for me. I'm rocking a 10 to 40 string set, and I have a 56 on top for my C and or E, depending on however you want to look at it, for my 6 string, my heavy string. Up top, I'm using a Kurt Mangan coated set. I'll absolutely love Kurt Mangan strings. Guys, I know you've stuck around for a very long time, and I really do appreciate it. So let me give you my final thoughts, and I can get you right on out of here. Is Mayones an instrument? Absolutely, they are an instrument, and they're a pretty fantastic instrument too. Like I said, I got this from Guitar Center, and I never ever thought I'd be able to own a Mayones. The Duvell is perfect for me. So guys, thank you so much for sticking around, checking out this review. I'm gonna do a whole big review, whole video on the pickups itself, because it really does deserve its own video, because these pickups are really great, and they've kind of ruined other pickups for me. The War Pigs are absolutely fantastic. So if you have any questions or comments, concerns, leave them in the comments down below. I will definitely answer them for you. And guys, thank you so much for sticking around and checking out this video. I know there's a lot of different things fighting for your attention, and you chose to spend some time with me, and I absolutely appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around and watching. If you haven't subbed, do it. You will not regret it. If you thought this video was cool, leave me a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. And guys, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.